We hit almost every goal. I mean, blew out of the water. The goal was $50 million. We bought $300 million in that same time period.
Being on stage speaking,
Yeah.
I know that I have a lot of this is the imposter syndrome. And the more that I'm around successful people, I find that everyone has this same thing where it's just like, I'm not good enough to be here. If they really knew about me, they really knew, they would be like, oh, dude, sorry. So like, how did you transition from that to that phase 3 of actually creating a life of design?
When I built the kind of phase 3 of my life, I took a very different approach. Now, I wasn't like super smart. I just like figured, I figured it out with a lot of trial and error and failure. But basically the approach I took was, how do I build this large syndication business? And I decided I was going to do syndication with mobile home parks. How was I going to build that without being involved in the day-to-day? And that's a question most entrepreneurs don't ask themselves. They say, how can I build this? And I said, how can I get somebody to build this? Now, granted, it's easier when you have that energy behind you of a podcast or social media or whatever, but I think anybody could actually start thinking that way of, who can I bring around me? How can I build a team that's going to take us here? Not I'm going to do it. So that was the first thing, is I really leaned into the idea of like, I'm going to build this without being in it. Like, it's like building a house, but I'm not inside the house. I'm the architect planning the house. Secondly, I really leaned into like vision a lot. Here is where we're headed. I literally wrote down, we're going to buy $50 million of real estate. We're going to have 1,000 accredited investors on our list. We're going to, this and this and this. And I had all these details down, how many units, how many properties, how we do it, everything. And I wrote this in a big vision, put it on my wall, and it's still there today. It's like a newspaper article I wrote 3 years in the future. And we hit almost every goal. I mean, blew out of the water. The goal was $50 million. We bought $300 million in that same time period. Those two things really were what led me to that third level, which was building it from the outside looking in, and then casting a vision and being the energy versus being the cadet on the front lines of the battle. I was a general looking over the map.